I want to talk about the uncertainty of TikTok. Lawmakers say the app is a threat to national security because it's owned by a Chinese company. They're concerned China's government might take advantage of American users' data. TikTok CEO firing back, saying the company has invested to keep users' information safe. Coleman Ryan, cyber detective with K. Griff Investigations, is here to give us an insight on why the concern is so great. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Thank you for your time this morning. I know this would impact a lot of people. We're talking about everyday people, influencers, small business owners, politicians. So where is the concern here? Why is it so great, and why is it being deemed a national security threat?
I would say the main difference is who's aggregating the data. Many people say, what's the big deal? Facebook, Google are doing the same thing. So why pick on TikTok? And the main reason is the data is aggregated in China.
Right. Not here in the U.S.
Ultimately in China. Maybe they have data centers here. I'm not sure of the architecture.
Yeah.
But the concern is the connection to the CCP.
Okay.
And there's a trust issue there. Now, it's my understanding, I've done a lot of research, and for example, the FBI has recognized this as a threat, as well as other federal agencies. They've also more or less tested the algorithm. So the results that they're seeing for, let's say, young people here in the U.S. compared to young people elsewhere. And they're seeing some major differences. So there's definitely a difference in the algorithm being used.
Okay. And when we talk about the algorithm, what does the algorithm do? It aggregates information, or is that, what does that mean? How does that work?
It's a two-way street. I mean, they're able to harvest so much information from you.
Yeah.
Okay, and based on that and using AI, some decisions are going to be made, what is going to be presented to you.
Okay. So how do we know if an app is tracking our information? An app, a platform, a database, how does that work?
Well, it's different for each app, and some apps, when you install them, they're going to ask you, do you want to share your contacts, various other attributes.
Access your photos. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be all over the map.
Okay.
Then there's the trust issue. What I've seen, being in the security business, one of my jobs is to monitor threats. And what I've noticed over the past few years is it was typically always Russia and China. I've seen a surge on the Chinese attempts. And if you go check the internet, you'll learn the same thing. So, you know, what they're reporting on the internet as far as most of the threats, attacks, attempted threats are from China.
Let me ask you this, from your standpoint, from your expertise, do you deem TikTok as a national security threat?
I do, based on what I know now. I didn't think much of it until recently. There's been a lot of conversations with colleagues, users. I truly believe it could be a security risk.
For people who are not privy to that information or just don't see that, what would be your caution to them?
Many people that may ignore that or do not believe that may be influencers. It may be bringing them income, so it's hard to separate yourself from that.
Of course.
Because if they lose that, they could lose their livelihood. So there is a lot of anger out there and resentment. And as a IT security person, I look at both sides.
Yeah.
Now, clearly, in some environments, government environments, there are apps they absolutely don't want for obvious reasons. They're able to harvest so much of your personal information.
Yeah, or pose as overt threats. This
Right.
one, it could be a little covert at times if you're not
Right.
if you're not aware. What do you want people to know when downloading apps? What are things people should be on the lookout for?
Well, you always want to stay within the realm of the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store. You can install unknown sources. Never recommend that. I never recommend that. You're really at risk. Be aware of what they're asking you for access to. Really think about that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to share photos, contacts, then don't do it.
If you find there is some sort of malware on an app you downloaded or a platform you're on, is there something you can do to remedy the situation? Is there someone you should reach out to for help?
There's a lot of good products out there. A lot of them have free trials. Generally, they work well. The other problem is, and this has happened many times over the years, apps have made it into the iTunes Store, into the Google Play Store that were malware. They were able to sidestep the checks. That's happened many, many times.
So there is a vetting process in place with these app stores.
Absolutely. But there have been apps many times that squeaked by. My concern with the Chinese is their amazing level of sophistication. In my opinion, Russia and the Chinese are some of the most intelligent, proficient, but dangerous potential attackers. And we know they've attacked, for example, the energy industry.
The grids.
They're always a threat. I regularly look at log files, and I can tell you 80% of, now they're not getting through, but the attempted breaches are from China now. So I've really seen a change in the trend.
For people who depend on this platform, TikTok, copyright probably comes into play here. But what's stopping an American company from duplicating or mimicking a platform such as this for people to access safely, to continue their influence, their business, their life?
Well, I would say nothing other than the funding.
Yeah, it takes money, right?
It really does.
Lots of it.
Lots of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Facebook, Meta, Google, Alphabet are so profitable. They've done a very good job and have for years of collecting our data, and we know it works. You know, we'll get on the internet and maybe search for shoes, and whatever we're searching for, it really works well. We're going to start seeing shoe ads or whatever it may be. So we know it works. And at the end of the day, data is king. Data is big dollars. Big data, big dollars. A lot of money to be made.
Advertising, marketing, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's a gold mine. Okay, well, we appreciate your time. Coleman Ryan, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You bet. Thank you.